We have here a story about a lady that was supposedly arrested for violating the Baker Act. We'll get into that, what it means in a minute. Apparently, she was reported, and the police showed up, and she was taken into custody. We're going to be reporting, at least from what the news was saying, on that story here.
Welcome back. It's called the Baker Act. Under state law, people can be forced into a facility for a mental health evaluation if, among other reasons, they are a danger to themselves or others.
But in a new lawsuit, a South Florida woman says that she was held in mental institutions for nearly 2 weeks for no legitimate reason. And she shared body camera video that she says proves her case and raises questions about how this law meant to protect people can be implemented. NBC6 investigative reporter Amy Bateri takes a closer look.
So we'll read the Baker Act, what it actually and when it starts. So the Baker Act, officially known as Florida Mental Health Act of 1971, allows for the involuntary commitment of individuals with mental health issues who may pose a danger to themselves or others. It provides a legal framework for emergency mental health services and temporary detention for evaluation and treatment, typically up to 72 hours. If what she's saying is true and it's been 2 weeks, she might definitely have a case.
Prevent me from leaving work.
The incident started on March 27th of last year.
So legally, I can't go home.
No.
Why?
Body camera video shows Broward Sheriff's deputies met on the side of the road in Dania Beach.
Hello, how's it going? How's it going?
By this man.
I'm waiting for a car to go by. There's a girl driving it. She's like a kind of mentally unstable person.
BSO has not responded to inquiries about who called the deputies there, but it appears they're taking direction from the man in the gray t-shirt.
She's heading over here right now. Pinging her or? Yes, they have a GPS on her.
He asks deputies to follow him to a nearby parking lot once she arrives.
I can admit that things look a bit off. There doesn't seem to be an immediate threat of somebody based on the Baker Act. We'll read it again. Allows for the involuntary commitment of an individual with mental health issues who may pose a danger to themselves or others. If you have to follow someone to a location to wait on someone driving by in a car, so you can, it seems a bit odd. I can see why the lady would want this body cam shared.
I have a doctor, Dr. Boba from Hollywood Memorial Hospital, who's over there right now waiting for her to show up, and he's going to fake her out.
And when I showed up, it obviously was not an estimate.
And from what he just said, he is going to Baker Act her. So it seems almost like, to her point, a setup.
Demoree Hadley says she was lured to that parking lot by someone posing as a potential client for the landscaping company she runs with her then boyfriend, now husband. But according to her lawsuit, when she showed up, she was approached by several people.
We're going to take her.
Including Dr. Daniel Bober, the chief of psychiatry at Memorial Regional Hospital, who also runs a private practice and has been featured as a mental health expert on media outlets, including NBC6.
I already knew I had intuition. Something is not right here.
Deputies also had questions for those present, at least at first.
Who are you guys? So we're a mobile crisis team working with Dr. Boba from Hollywood Memorial Hospital.
Okay. Memorial Healthcare tells us there is no mobile crisis team affiliated with the hospital.
This lady might have some money coming to her just based on what so far this is presenting. If he says that they are and there is none, that would be constitutionally a lie. And if that is a lie, then you're probably going after this lady under false pretenses. And if you are going after her under false pretenses, then there could be some problems as to the reasons of why. Why would you be doing this? But this particular person, what's the premise for them having a worry about her mental health? Is it something they've been following for a while? Is it something that she did while she was working with one of their people? If it's a landscaping issue, was it a billing issue? There are a whole slew of things could have led to this point, which we're not yet privy to. Hopefully the lawsuit will bring up to the surface.
And Dr. Bober did not respond to our inquiry. We found the people seen here, James Fondo and Stephen and Jessica Cady, are actually owners of Sig9, a private security company. The men, both former high-ranking BSO officers, according to their bios.
Am I being detained?
For now, you're being detained.
The Baker Act, which Dr. Bober was citing, allows a physician to order someone they've examined in the previous 48 hours be held against their will in a mental health facility if they pose a risk to themselves or others, and the doctor can ask law enforcement to take them there.
He's not my doctor. He's never seen me in my life.
And if that's true, if what she just said is true, he's not my doctor, I've never seen him in my life, they cannot invoke the Baker Act based on what the law just read out. Again, I can see why she had to make sure that this body cam was brought to light.
A concern Demoree raises several times in the video.
He's a doctor. He's part of the mobile crisis unit.
I've never spoken to him.
I don't care.
And she also says he never examined her. On the Baker Act paperwork, Dr. Bober certified he did that exam at 5:56 p.m. that day. The same time, video shows them all still in that parking lot. He diagnosed her with an unspecified psychosis, adding she was a risk to herself.
I have 3 different collateral sources of information that say that she's been acting psychotic, that she threatened to overdose yesterday.
What he told me was, we received a call from your family that you tried to OD the night before, and you're being Baker acted. And my question was like, what are you talking about?
Experts tell us it's common for doctors to take families' concerns into account, and ultimately the decision to Baker Act someone is up to the healthcare professional on scene.
You know what? I'll leave that one alone. You guys can make your own assessment about what you just witnessed. Not the statement, but the last frame seemed a bit off. Which family? They're not mentioning that. Was it actually a report, or is he making this up?
In the lawsuit, Demoree says she has no mental health history and does not use illegal drugs. She also shared records from Memorial Regional showing drug test results from that day were negative.
I have concerns about how all of this happened.
Attorney Hilton Napoleon is representing Demoree in the lawsuit she filed this month, alleging she spent nearly 2 weeks falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act, a similar law that allows involuntary substance abuse treatment. She claims it all stems from an ongoing dispute between Demoree and her own mother, who denies the allegations, saying in a motion to dismiss the lawsuit that the family attempted to get help out of concern for her daughter's physical and mental well-being.
I've been practicing law for 20 years and I've never seen a case like this before.
Where is the husband? All this is the biggest question. Why was he not questioned about mental health things? Has he ever encountered any with his then girlfriend or wife? Was he concerned as well as the mother? Is this vindictive? And how exactly did it get to this point? And why would someone be held for more than 72 hours, up to 2 weeks, for something that she's presenting that had no basis or merit to? This could get interesting.
Demoree's lawsuit claims deputies never verified the identity of the individuals on scene and took their word, despite Demoree repeatedly voicing concerns. In a statement, SIG-9 says they were engaged by a licensed mental health professional to assist with a voluntary transport for psychiatric evaluation to avoid the need for law enforcement intervention.
But that's obviously not what happened. So how would they be able to send that out there? If what they're saying is true, then the police would have not have need to be there, but the police were there. Wow.
So
I can't drive myself?
No, you're going to have to go with them.
Video shows Demoree asked to be transported by deputies and was told this.
I can't ride with you and you guys take me?
You're going to be in handcuffs, the dog's not going to be able to come?
I don't want to be in handcuffs.
Okay. So I'm going to wait. We're going to take you to their vehicle.
A deputy encourages Demoree to get into this truck.
You can't just force a woman into a dark gray truck without validating or verifying the story that's being told.
A BSO spokesperson says the incident is now under review.
I don't think I've ever felt so alone and unseen and unheard in my whole entire life.
Memorial Healthcare tells us they can't talk about this case because of the pending lawsuit. Dr. Bober told us initially he couldn't discuss the case because of privacy restrictions. Then Demoree provided a release allowing him to speak with us, but so far we have not heard back. In a statement, SIG-9 denied the allegations, adding, "Our role was limited, lawful, and conducted in good faith under the direction of a licensed physician." Again, Demoree's mother denies any wrongdoing, claiming her actions are based on legitimate concern. Coming up tomorrow, we take you inside this legal fight involving some wild allegations.
Just off on the surface, we have multiple contradictions on just about every level. The people that were there to detain said they weren't there to detain. They were there voluntarily to pick up somebody voluntarily. But at the scene, you can easily see that it wasn't involuntary on her end. and she was not very comfortable with anything going on, never met any of the people before, never was inspected by the doctor. Her own paperwork says the exact same thing. He can't verify that he saw her, and they saw her the same time they were talking to her at the scene. So how did he get an evaluation on scene at the time, but was called prior to because it was a prior concern? You see where the problems might be crossroading here. This could end up being a possible linchpin to at least the modification of the Baker Act, and at least probably a nailing down of how it should be implemented, because this could end up going very south for a lot of people. If you have a altercation with your neighbor, or you have an altercation with somebody that you know, and they consider you a mental health issue person, and they call it in, and they get this evaluation to say, well, this person has acted this way to us, and they're wanting to harm not just them, but me. And if I have to be in the first position where I'm afraid, I have to call this in, and now the Baker Act can be implemented, and this person's life can be turned upside down. Adversely, or conversely, you can look at somebody and they really do have a mental case, and then they get called in, but because of a false alarm before, the person doesn't get taken in, and then they commit suicide or even end somebody else, and nothing gets done about it. So now you have to really, really, really make sure that the implementation of this Baker Act is done so not just properly, but with proper vetting. In this case, it doesn't seem like it was done in either case. It doesn't seem like there was a whole lot of due diligence done. It seems, at least from the footage, that the police just showed up, comported with everybody else and complied with it, and then just went along with it. Doesn't seem to be called. The boyfriend, husband, never seemed to be called in this either. She was seemingly ambushed. But again, the lawsuit will reveal a lot, because a lot of it has to be put into discovery. This ongoing investigation from the side of the hospital should already seem to be a problem, because if you tell me that you don't have a mobile unit, but the doctor that represents you says that there is, that could cause a massive problem. That might be why he's not allowed to talk, because the last time he did, he probably put the hospital in a lot of problems. We'll keep an eye on it, see if anything comes of it. But most importantly, we'll see if anything gets changed about this Baker Act, because it's not just Florida that has this particular type of situation. There are multiple states that have it. It may not be called the Baker Act, but there are multiple states that have the same issue. Now, will this be a catalyst for everything to be changed, solidified, or adjusted based on people's reaction to this particular one? We'll wait to see.